Good afternoon, guys. Today we are in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and I'm going to be making my way through Tulsa back to Missouri, but I've always wanted to go to Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street is a historic part of Tulsa, Oklahoma, where back in the early 1900s, around, I don't know when it was started, but it was the first big financial center for Black African Americans here in the United States. A very successful financial center. People were really starting to move up in wealth, and we'll get the entire story when I get there, but basically someone white accused someone black of something, and a race riot broke out and they burned the entire place down. Just a huge racial massacre, and it was just one of the most terrible things that's happened and most people don't know about in the United States. So there's been plenty of race riots and race-based massacres that have happened in the United States, but this was one of the biggest ones, and in such an up-and-coming financial area that a lot of young people don't even know about. The museum is supposed to be free. It's called the Greenwood Black History Museum. It's right in the center of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and we have to pass through there, so let's go check it out. All right, guys, we are here in Greenwood. Let's get out and check it out. Welcome to Greenwood. All right, I hope it's not too windy, but basically it looks like it's just this street right here. And kind of reminds me of 18th and Vine in Kansas City, to be honest. There's a couple of stores down here, and I think there's a museum right up here. So this pretty cool mural over here. You got Harriet Tubman right there. So, right around here you got all the shops and everything. Here is the museum, so you just cross the street and come over here. Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. James Baldwin. That is a very true quote. Let's go inside.
We have some railroad tracks from 1921. These are the Frisco tracks that are located right outside. If you walk out the door and turn left, these are the Frisco tracks that separated North Tulsa, where Black people live, and South Tulsa, where white people live. Here's a short video you guys might want to watch. It is the creation of Greenwood, the Native Americans who came through the Trail of Tears. We would like to dedicate this walk to them, basically because while they were coming through the Trail of Tears, a lot of people did not know that they owned slaves. So that was how a lot of slaves got here. In this case, we have freedom papers. We have a map of all Black towns. And then, as I was telling you about Mr. E.P. McCain, encouraging people to purchase land. When people purchase land, some of them had oil in land, so that made them instant millionaires overnight. So this wall here, this is our pioneer wall. We dedicate this to them, the people that created the Greenwood area, called it Black Wall Street. Mr. O.W. Gurley was one of the first business persons on Greenwood in 1906. All of the people on this wall, young men and women, were millionaires back in the 1920s.
Walter Franklin, I'm a 68. I'm a Chickasaw freedman. My wife, Millie, deceased, was owned by Peter Lynch. Walter Franklin, his wife is a Chickasaw freedman. Andrew Franklin, Thomas Franklin, 25. Wife, Cohen, a Chickasaw freedman. She has children. It's like an inventory of people.
So this is George, T.C., and Jerome Barbers that they had on Greenwood, and you know, a safe space for Black people have always been churches, barbershops, beauty shops. So they're going to just talk about any and everything, and I think that's for everybody. You feel safe and you can talk about things that you won't get in trouble.
All right. George, Want your house?
You know I won't say no.
Good. So now you can save up all those tips and get about your mama.
It's real funny, Joel.
That time.
What you talking about?
People getting their hair cut. Look at that.
Like they doing you a favor, come to see.
I don't have hair, so it wouldn't make sense. So you were saying
I'm the best barber on this side.
that when they were traveling across Oklahoma during the Trail of Tears,
Listen to this
that
boy here.
the
Y'all
Native
know I ain't
Americans
lying
owned
about
slaves?
that.
Or?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. My people are from. They were enslaved from the Native Americans, so they have freedmen papers.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's very interesting. So when they settled there,
settled here.
and, I'm sorry, I'm not from. Sorry, I'm thinking outside.
You're fine.
That's what I'm saying.
They also donated this land too.
Funny it is.
Yeah, this is,
Those brothers
yeah.
can't find that
Because they were sent away from their land
Right.
to come here.
Exactly.
I
Okay.
didn't know that.
So they just came and settled it, and it was basically
Some of them
theirs.
did. Yeah, some of them. Yeah, this
And
was
that's how
already
they became
there.
overnight millionaires.
Exactly.
Because of the oil.
And the land had oil. All the, I mean, Oklahoma is every place has oil. Pretty much every town, every city has oil.
That makes sense. I've been here for like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
I've been asking everybody, like, why is it Oklahoma have that little panhandle coming off of it? Was there like a bunch of oil there or something?
I don't know.
Like, it's just
That's
the
a good
weirdest
question.
shape.
Yeah, it is a weird shape. The Panhandle is.
Yeah.
It's right near Texas as well. Well, it's different. I think it borders Texas, and I think it borders something
Yeah,
else.
it's just a weird shape to
Yeah,
claim
yeah, the
instead of just
panhandle.
cutting it straight
Right.
off. So I thought that was interesting. It probably is what happened.
It probably
Oh,
is.
don't you get
I
them
was gonna sit there, but I don't have any hair, so it wouldn't
You're
be believable.
fine. You're fine.
They wouldn't know what they're cutting.
That worked.
It's going to start the timeline from when Black people were brought here in 1619. It is sensitive, and then we do have an emotional exit if it gets to be a bit much. We do have some community resources, but it is, it's history. So we'll go ahead and move on. This is called the Art of Prayer. I do want to mention we have some brochures there on the wall. Those are the community resources where she's going. That's our emotional exit. This is going to start your timeline from 1619 when Black people were brought here.
I'm sorry.
We have an actual timeline of everything that happened in between. And then the culmination is the 1921 race massacre. So we'll show you the systems that are set up for all the anti-Blackness in America, social, economic, and political, everything that's relevant to up until today. So have a look in this room here.
So they got a ledger of people who were in the Ku Klux Klan right here. It says K Trio. Occupation: carpenter, painter, plumber, laborer. It's kind of sickening that people would go out and just watch something like that. So in 1921, Dick Rowland allegedly assaulted Sarah Page in an elevator. So this all started from an alleged assault in an elevator. A young black kid and a young white woman. So they picked him up, took him to jail. Then, of course, the media spread the story. Of course, right? Nothing's changed there, right? Law enforcement was tipped off about a white lynch mob outside the jail. 400 white men assembled outside the jail. They were trying to lynch him. So some black men from the Greenwood district trekked to the courthouse to help guard him. Another group of 75 black men sat outside the courthouse. So basically a mob on each side was forming. People started shooting. Tulsa National Guard was mobilized. They attacked the town. White mobs burned buildings, killed men and women, children, and looted and raided homes. Authorities disarmed and rounded up black men. National Guard arrived from Oklahoma City, and then martial law. Tulsa Race Massacre. Centuries of racist policy towards black Americans fueled attacks on black communities across the country. On May 1921, these forces of oppression accumulated in one of the worst acts of domestic terror in our nation's history. Over a period of about 16 hours, Jesus, spanning 2 days, white mobs looted and destroyed citizen and property of Greenwood in what would become known as the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre. Somewhere between 100 and 300 people are believed to have been killed and hundreds others wounded. As you reflect on this system of oppression and how it played out in Tulsa and beyond, consider what it leaves behind in its white community struggling, often without assistance or intervention with historical racial trauma. Look at that. They're all in the cars with rifles. This place is just completely decimated. People being marched out with their hands up. This is wild.
It's going to show you the total destruction of Greenwood, and there's also some more eyewitness statements on the back side of these pillars here. Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was 10 years old. We were just out back at this building. When they came after us, from my father and his winter, yeah, no pistol out. I stayed with one pocket. You took over.
Take a look at this. And other incidents since the Civil War. Well, I'll let you read it. It's probably too loud. So let's take a look. The aftermath, the immediate response. The precise death toll is unknown and likely unknowable. Like that guy said in that video over there, he thinks his father died, but he didn't know where he was buried, if he was buried. Official death toll, 37, 25 black, 12 white. Estimated by Walter F. White, 200 black and 50 white. Riot Commission report, 150 to 300 total. So the official is definitely wrong. 1,000 plus. Jeez. It's insane. So this whole area was mobbed. And what I thought was crazy is they were actually using planes. So they got in planes. I mean, what was it, like 7 years before the Wright brothers invented the plane? I think like 1907. And then 13 years later, they're using it to bomb towns in Oklahoma. Just crazy how fast people take a good idea and use it for hatred. But as the massacre unfolds, the American Red Cross provided medical relief. So they set up hospitals. I mean, look at the town. It does not look much different, than today. Nice open streets and everything. It was really up and coming. And this is the wider shot. Now look at it. Just completely destroyed. Like, compare this to this. Some victims of the massacre turned to the legal system to help perpetrate those accountable. These efforts were uniformly unsuccessful, of course, right? How are you going to get justice? Let the blame for this Negro uprising riots where it belongs. All those armed Negroes and their followers who started this trouble. Like, it's so crazy, right? So if you march into someone else's town and try to hang someone off a bullshit news article, and then they defend him, and then you destroy their town, it's like, oh, okay. Here, let the blame lie where it is. Like, okay, guys. So there's some people of note that are survivors. Dr. Olivia Juliet, Susie Bell, operated cafes on Black Wall Street. Her first venture in Bell Cafe. Hey, that's across the street. I'm gonna have to go there. Huge successful, sorry. In partnership with Presley Little, her brother, and the husband of Mabel B. Little, Susie Bell launched another winning establishment, Bell and Little Cafe, which did not survive the massacre. As Bell's post-massacre ventures proved far less successful, of course, right? Let's check out this other area right here. Post-massacre Black Tulsans though faced with calculated, coordinated efforts by the city and others to suppress them, redoubled their efforts in entrepreneurship and self-reliance amidst the systematic oppression and targeted terror of the 20th century. The Greenwood spirit persisted. The rebuilt Greenwood district had its ups and downs. Segregation and the overall economy fluctuated. The fight for black civil rights gained momentum as the nation worked through social, political, and economic transitions. So too did Greenwood district. Cruising. I love it when we're cruising together. Alright. Shortly after the massacre, and as Greenwood District residential and business community began to rebuild and regain economic prosperity, the surge in membership of the domestic terrorist organization, the Ku Klux Klan, signaled more trouble ahead. The Klan influential and powerful in the 1920s and 30s, America established itself among the Oklahoma elite and proceeded to blunt black social, political, and economic progress. Yeah, it makes sense, right? Look at this. Can you imagine if that happened today? Freaking Ku Klux Klan marching down Pennsylvania Boulevard. It'd be absolutely insane. Definitely wouldn't be tolerated. Moving forward, the civil rights movement. Where's MLK at? Look at his old town. Jeez. I don't want to skip ahead though. From Wall Street to Main Street. By the 1960s, the economic engine that fueled Greenwood District for years began to slow. The insular black community now saw its dollar flowing out of the Greenwood District, and the lack of access to credit and decreasing customer base further eroded the foundations of the Black Wall Street business. Through the late 1970s, without a systematic succession progress for aging business owners, Black Wall Street declined. We kind of see that all across America. Look at old Tulsa. Look at that. Wow. Okay. With its colorful murals and performance venues, Greenwood has always had an undercurrent of arts.
They grew up, went to school, Booker T, Carver, yeah.
Okay.
This is Charlie Wilson. These are his brothers.
Okay.
Oh, and here's some information.
Wow, okay. The Gap Band. Okay, so this is interesting. In Tulsa, across the country, urban renewal initiatives adversely affected black communities and other communities of color. In the 1950s, urban planners used highway locations and other planning strategies to physically separate communities from white communities and encourage black community members to support white businesses under the guise of renovation and public works. This is actually true in Kansas City as well. They used 71 to do the I-71 to do the exact same thing. That happens a lot in a lot of cities. Well, it happened a lot back in the day. Nowadays, not so much. Yeah, and then just progress forward. It's just incredible. The 1921 Race Riot Commission is pleased to report that this past tragedy has been extensively aired, that is now remembered, and it will never again be unknown, which is very true because many people don't even know about this. And I was surprised because I was asking people in Oklahoma City about this museum and no one knew about it. So, very interesting.
Yeah, this is the way my grandmother always dressed. And they're just dressed.
Alright, so the tour is basically over. Thank you. So at the very end of this, there's somewhere you can kind of sign the ledger. Alright, let's go find this. Oh, here we go. Wow. Whoa. That should be right, guys. We can archive something. Alright, guys, so just got out of there. It was really interesting. I think it's a good place to stop and see. I got held up in a conversation for far too long. I need to get to Joplin, Missouri, but I really liked it. It was very eye-opening. You can really get an idea of what really happened here. And The area itself, Greenwood, looks a lot like 18th and Ryan in Kansas City, so it's a little throwback home. But I think if you're coming through Tulsa or you're anywhere near it, definitely worth the drive. Come check it out. It won't take you long to go through, but it's a bit of history that everyone should know, and I think it's not well known enough, which is kind of sad, but definitely worth a visit. Completely free to check out. Give her a like, give her a sub, and do whatever you want. Just have a beautiful day, all right? Peace.